Unit 2 Plant Life Reproduction in Plants. Hi children! Flowering plants reproduce by making seeds. Before a seed can grow into a new plant, they have to be fertilized by pollen. Pollen comes from another plant during a process called pollination. Spore is a reproductive cell capable of developing into a new individual without fusion with another reproductive cell. Spores thus differ from gametes, which are reproductive cells that must fuse in pairs in order to give rise to a new individual. In vegetative propagation, new plants grow from parts of the parent plant. The new plant is genetically identical to the parent. Crop protection products keep crops safe from attack by insects, weeds, and diseases. In this lesson, you will learn about different reproduction processes in plants. Unit 2 Plant Life Reproduction in Plants. Plants play an important role in the existence of life on the earth. Man's life largely depends on plants directly or indirectly. Plants are a major part of this environment. They provide food, shelter, and clothing. They also provide other important things like medicines, spices, wood, rubber, gum, tea, jute, coffee, tobacco, etc. So, planting more plants not only increases the forest wealth and also prevents the soil erosion. Reproduction helps to maintain the existence of plants on the earth. Most of the plants reproduce through seeds, but some plants reproduce with the help of roots, stem, and leaves. Plants reproduce in different ways to continue their life on the earth. Flowers give out fruits. Fruits contain seeds. New plants grow from seeds. So, most of the plants reproduce by seeds. Plants reproduce in three ways. 1. Reproduction through seeds. 2. Reproduction through spores. And 3. Vegetative propagation. 1. Reproduction through seeds. When a plant is fully developed, it produces a large number of flowers. The pollen grains from one flower are transferred to another flower by wind or insects. This is called pollination. After pollination, the flower changes into fruit, which contains seeds. These seeds vary in shape, size, and color. Some fruits contain only one seed, example mango, while some contain a few seeds, example peas and apple. And still some other contain many seeds, example guava and papaya. Parts of a seed. Activity. Soak some bean seeds for overnight in water. Take a soaked seed and remove its outer covering and observe it carefully. A seed has an outer covering called seed coat. It protects the baby plant called embryo. It has a tiny hole to allow water to enter. The seeds open up into two halves. These yellow, fleshy parts are called cotyledons or seed leaves. Inside the seed leaves, there is a baby plant. This baby plant has a tiny shoot and a tiny root. Food is stored in the seed leaves. This is used by the baby plant till a pair of green leaves are grown. Grams, peas and beans have two seed leaves, whereas maize, wheat and rice have only one seed leaf. Gram seed, maize seed, parts of a bean seed. Germination of a seed. Activity. Take some bean seeds. Place the seeds on damp cotton wool in a plate. Make your observations daily. After 2 or 3 days, the seed's coat becomes soft and spills open. The baby root starts growing from each seed. After a few days, small leaves come and a new plant starts growing. This small new plant is called seedling. Stages in the germination of a bean seed. The development of a seed into seedling is called germination. During germination, the baby plant gets all its food from the seed leaves. Soon after the leaves have appeared, the seed leaves dry up and fall off. Conditions necessary for germination. Air, water and warmth are necessary for the germination of a seed. Let us study these conditions with the help of the following activity. Experiment showing conditions necessary for germination. Activity. Set up an experiment as follows. Take 3 mature and direct bean seeds and tie them to a glass slide. Keep the slide in a beaker having water in the way as shown in the picture. Keep the beaker at room temperature. Observe after few days. Add a little water to the beaker if it does not touch seed 2. Only the middle seed germinates as it gets air, water and warmth. Germinating seeds need air because they require oxygen for breathing. Hence, seeds will not germinate without air. Water is needed for germination because it helps to soften the seed coat. It also changes the stored food in the seed into a soluble form for the use of baby plant. Warmth is needed for the cells of seed to become active. 2. Reproduction by spores. Ferns, mosses, fungi are non-flowering plants and do not have seeds. They reproduce by spores. These spores are small, and packed in small box-like structures called spore boxes. On the underside of the leaves, spore boxes appear as brown spots. The spore boxes burst open and scatter the ripe spores. Then the spores grow into new plants. Fern leaves. 3. Vegetative propagation. Some plants reproduce with the help of their roots, stems, and leaves. In certain plants, these parts give out new plants without producing seeds. So, reproduction by stem, leaves, and roots is called vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is much faster than reproduction through seeds. Activity. Name some plants which do not produce by seeds. 1. New plants from stem cuttings. Gardeners grow roses by cutting small pieces of stem with buds during rainy season and planting them in the soil. After a few days, it grows into a new plant. Sugarcane also reproduces by this method. Rose stem cutting. When cuttings are attached to the shoots of another plant, it is called grafting. By this method, two types of fruits or flowers can be produced on one plant. When the cutting of sweet mango grafted on a stem of a sour mango tree, it gives sweet fruits. Grafting. 2. New plants by layering. In this method, the side branches bend towards the ground and covered with moist soil, keeping the tip free. After a few days, new roots develop. The branch is cut off from the parent plant and the new plant is planted in another place. Jasmine and raspberries reproduce by layering. Growing plants by layering. 3. New plants from leaves. In bryophyllum plants, there are buds on the edges of the leaves. These buds grow into new plants. Bryophyllum. 4. New plants from roots. Sweet potato, carrot, radish, and beetroot are the roots of plants that store food in them. If we plant them in the soil, roots and shoot grow from them. Growing plants from roots. Plants grow from the bulbs of mother plant. Some plants like gladioli, lilies, and tuberoses can be grown from bulbs. The bulbs are underground buds. 5. New plants from underground stem. Plants like potatoes, ginger, and onion are underground stems which have stored food in them. Potato and ginger have tiny buds called eyes. These buds grow into new plants. Onion is called a bulb as it is shaped like a bulb. If we plant the bulb in the soil, it gives out a new plant. Potato, ginger, onion. Growing plants from underground stem. 6. New plants from runners. We know that grass plants creep along the ground like a green carpet. Roots grow from each node of the stem. They separate and grow into new plants. They look as they are running on the ground, so they are called runners. Growing plants from runners. Need for dispersal of seeds. Plants generally produce many seeds. If all of them were to fall under the parent plant, they would grow. In such crowded conditions, many of them would die due to lack of enough light, food, water, and space to grow. Since the plants are fixed, they take the help of natural agents like wind, water, birds, animals, etc. for dispersing their seeds. This process of scattering and spreading of seeds to different places is called as seed dispersal. Agents for dispersal of seeds. Many plants have special devices or organs for scattering the seeds. 1. By wind. Seeds of some plants like cotton, madder, dandelion, and drumstick are small, light, and have wings or hair. Therefore, these seeds are easily carried to distant places by wind. Dandelion, madder, drumstick, cotton. 2. By water. Seeds of some plants which grow in and near water are scattered by water. The seeds of coconut have a spongy fibrous outer coating, and the seeds of lotus have a spongy part. As they are light, they easily float on water. Coconut, lotus. 3. By animals. Sweet and juicy fruits like mangoes and oranges are eaten by human beings, but their seeds are thrown away to different places. Some fruits are eaten by animals and birds, but their seeds are passed away undigested and unharmed in their dropping. Example: tomato, guava. Xanthium, tiger nail, mango, tomato, guava. Some seeds have hooks or spikes. They are attached to the fur of hair of animals or clothing of human beings and are carried away to distant places. Example: xanthium, tiger nail. 4. By explosion. Some fruits on drying burst open or explode. So, the seeds are thrown away with force in all directions. Example: pea, balsam, castor, lady's finger. Pea, lady's finger. Crops and vegetables. All living things depend on plants for their food. Most of our food comes from plants of different variety. They need to be grown in fields where they get suitable soil, water, minerals, humus, temperature, and sunlight. Different plants require different kinds of soils. Rice and jute grow in clayey soil which holds enough water. That is why more rice is grown in and around Bengal. Wheat is grown in sandy and irrigated soil of Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. Jowar and bajra are grown in sandy soil of Rajasthan. Cotton and groundnut are grown in the black soil of central and western India. Tea plants need moist soil, so they grow in hill areas of Assam, Darjeeling, and Nilgiris. Maize grows well in dry soil of plains or hills. Coconut trees grow properly only in coastal areas. Different plants grow in different climates and seasons. Crops like pulses, cereals, and grams grow in winter and are called rabi crops. Rice, jowar, and bajra grow in summer and are called kharif crops. Fruits and vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, beans, radish, and peas grow well in winter. Vegetables like pumpkin, brinjal, and gourds grow well in summer. Growing food crops. Nowadays, manures and chemical fertilizers are added to the soil to increase the production of vegetables. Dead and decaying plants and cow dung are common manures. Chemical fertilizers like urea, ammonium sulfates, nitrates, and supersulfates should also be used to get good yielding. For good crops, healthy and ripe seeds should be sown. Proper plowing, irrigation, and using manures and fertilizers result in good crop. Protection of crops and storage of seeds. For better and healthy crops, we must protect the crops. 1. By proper fencing around the field, we can protect the crops from grazing animals like goats, cows, buffaloes, etc. 2. Birds should be kept away by using scarecrow. 3. Crop rotation also helps to increase the production. 4. Weeds and diseased plants should be removed from the fields regularly. 5. Protect the crops from being eaten or spoiled by rats, mice, squirrels, and other birds. 6. Protect the crops against diseases and insects. Crops should be sprayed with insecticides and pesticides such as DDT and Gamaxine. After harvesting, the seeds must be protected from moisture and kept away from rats, moles, squirrels, mice, and insects. So the seeds should be stored in airtight containers. Spraying chemicals. Let's revise the important points. 1. Many plants reproduce by means of seeds. 2. A seed has seed coat, seed leaves, baby root and a baby shoot. 3. The development of a seed into seedling is called germination. 4. Air, water and warmth are necessary for the germination of a seed. 5. Some plants reproduce with the help of roots, stem and leaves. This process is called vegetative propagation. 6. Seeds of plants are dispersed by natural agents like wind, water, animals, birds, etc. to distant places. 7. India has two main crops, Rabi in winter and Kharif in summer. 8. We must protect the crops and seeds. 9. Manures and fertilizers must be added to the soil to increase the production.